Vancouver, the city of stunning mountains and sparkling ocean views. It's a dream destination for many, but for those looking to buy a home, it can feel more like a financial nightmare. We've all heard the stories, seen the headlines about sky-high prices, and wondered, when will it ever get better? Today, we're diving deep into the Vancouver housing market to answer the million-dollar question, or perhaps the multi-million-dollar question. What will home prices look like in 2025? Will the bubble finally burst, or will the upward climb continue? Stick around as we break down the latest forecasts, expert opinions, and the key factors that will shape the future of real estate in one of the world's most expensive cities. First, let's set the stage. The past few years have been a roller coaster for the Vancouver real estate market. We saw a frenzy of activity driven by historically low interest rates, followed by a rapid cooling-off period as the Bank of Canada began its aggressive rate hiking cycle to combat inflation. This has left many buyers and sellers in a state of uncertainty. So, where do we go from here? To understand 2025, we have to look at the major forces at play right now. These are what economists call market fundamentals, and in Vancouver, there are three big ones: interest rates, housing supply, and population growth. Let's start with interest rates. This is arguably the biggest driver of the market in the short term. When interest rates go up, borrowing money becomes more expensive. This reduces what buyers can afford, which in turn cools down demand and puts downward pressure on prices. We saw this happen very clearly starting in 2022. However, the consensus among most economists is that the era of aggressive rate hikes is over. The Bank of Canada has signaled that it may begin cutting rates sometime in the near future, possibly as early as mid-2024. What does this mean for 2025? As rates start to come down, even slightly, borrowing will become cheaper again. This will likely bring a wave of buyers back into the market, buyers who have been waiting on the sidelines for affordability to improve. This renewed demand is a key reason why many experts are not forecasting a market crash. Instead, they predict that falling rates will provide a floor for prices and could even reignite price growth. A forecast from major Canadian banks suggests a gradual, modest decline in interest rates through 2024 and into 2025. We're not talking about a return to the rock-bottom rates of the pandemic era, but a drop from, say, 5% to 4% on a mortgage can make a significant difference in monthly payments and overall affordability. This slight improvement could be just enough to convince hesitant buyers to jump back in, increasing competition for the limited number of homes available. So, factor number one, interest rates points towards a stabilizing or even slightly appreciating market in 2025. Now, let's talk about the second critical factor, housing supply. This is Vancouver's chronic, long-term problem. Simply put, there are not enough homes for the number of people who want to live here. For decades, the construction of new housing has failed to keep up with population growth. This isn't just about single-family homes. It includes townhouses, condos, and rental apartments. The government has introduced various measures to try and speed up housing construction, like streamlining approval processes and offering incentives for developers. However, building new homes is a slow process. It takes years to go from a proposal to a finished building. The supply shortage we're facing today is the result of decades of policy, and it can't be fixed overnight. Looking ahead to 2025, the supply situation is unlikely to change dramatically. While there are many new condo towers and developments under construction, they won't be enough to satisfy the pent-up demand. High construction costs, labor shortages, and municipal red tape continue to be major hurdles for developers. This persistent lack of supply creates a highly competitive environment. Whenever demand picks up, as it's expected to do when interest rates fall, buyers will find themselves competing for a very small pool of available properties. This is a fundamental economic principle. When demand outstrips supply, prices go up. This is why, even during market slowdowns, Vancouver prices tend to be sticky on the way down. Sellers know that if they just wait, another buyer will eventually come along. The supply crisis is the bedrock of Vancouver's expensive market. And it's a powerful force pushing against any significant price drops in 2025. The third piece of our puzzle is population growth, and this is where the story gets really interesting. Canada has been pursuing an ambitious immigration strategy, welcoming a record number of new residents. And British Columbia, particularly Metro Vancouver, is one of the top destinations for newcomers. People are drawn here for the economic opportunities, the quality of life, and the vibrant multicultural communities. This isn't just international immigration either. Vancouver also attracts a significant number of people from other Canadian provinces. This constant influx of new people creates a constant, unwavering demand for housing. They all need a place to live, whether they're buying or renting. For 2025, this trend is set to continue. Federal immigration targets remain high, and interprovincial migration is expected to stay strong. This means tens of thousands of new people will be arriving in Metro Vancouver, all looking for a home. This demographic pressure adds fuel to the fire. It reinforces the demand side of the equation and works in tandem with the supply shortage to keep prices elevated. Even if some existing residents decide to leave due to high costs, they are quickly replaced by newcomers. This relentless demographic growth is a key reason why many analysts are bullish on the long-term prospects of Vancouver real estate, and why a significant price crash in 2025 seems very unlikely. So we have three key factors: interest rates likely heading down, a chronic housing supply shortage, and strong sustained population growth. When you put them all together, what does the forecast for 2025 actually look like? Most major real estate organizations and financial institutions are predicting a shift from the recent cooling period to one of stability and modest growth. For example, a report from a major real estate brokerage firm forecasts that after a relatively flat or slightly down year, prices in Vancouver could increase by 2 to 4% in 2025. Similarly, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, or CMHC, expects the market to rebound as economic conditions and interest rates improve. Let's put that in perspective. A 3% increase on a $1.2 million benchmark home, a typical price in the region's about $36,000. It's not the explosive double-digit growth we've seen in the past, but it's certainly not a crash. The consensus is that 2025 will be a year of recovery. The market will likely bottom out and begin a gradual climb upwards. Buyers who have been waiting for a major price drop might be disappointed. Instead, the window of opportunity might be more about locking in a purchase before prices and competition heat up again as interest rates fall. Now, it's important to break this down by property type because the market isn't uniform. The condo market, for instance, often behaves differently than the detached single-family home market. Condos are the entry point for most first-time buyers. As interest rates come down, this is the segment that will likely see the biggest surge in demand. Many potential buyers who are priced out will find they can now qualify for a mortgage on a 1- or 2-bedroom condo. This could lead to a faster price recovery and more competition in the condo market compared to more expensive property types. On the other hand, the detached home market, with its multi-million-dollar price tags, is more sensitive to overall economic confidence and wealth trends. While it will also benefit from lower rates, the recovery might be more gradual. We could see a move-up market emerge in 2025, where existing condo owners who have built up equity decide to sell and upgrade to a townhouse or a detached home, creating activity across all segments. The key takeaway is that the most affordable properties will likely see the most action first. Of course, no forecast is a crystal ball. There are always wildcards that could change the picture. A sudden global economic recession, for example, could shake consumer confidence and put a damper on the housing market, regardless of interest rates. Similarly, significant changes in government policy, like new taxes on homeowners or a dramatic shift in immigration targets, could also have a major impact. However, based on the information we have right now, these black swan events don't appear to be on the immediate horizon. The most likely path forward for Vancouver real estate in 2025 is one of renewed but measured growth. So, what does this all mean for you? If you're a potential buyer, the takeaway is that waiting for a major crash is a risky strategy. The combination of falling rates, low supply, and high demand suggests that the market is more likely to go up than down in 2025. The period of lower competition and slightly softer prices we've seen recently might be the best opportunity you'll get for a while. Getting pre-approved for a mortgage now and understanding what you can afford will put you in a strong position to act when you find the right property. If you're a homeowner thinking of selling, 2025 could be a good year to make a move. As more buyers enter the market, you'll likely see more interest in your property. However, it will still be crucial to price your home correctly. The days of listing a property for any price and getting a dozen offers over asking are likely behind us for now. It will be a more balanced market, where well-priced, well-maintained homes will sell, while overpriced ones may sit. In conclusion, the forecast for Vancouver's housing market in 2025 is not one of a dramatic crash, but rather a return to a more familiar story, a story of resilience and gradual appreciation. The fundamental market dynamics that make Vancouver so expensive, limited supply and high demand, are not going away. The expected drop in interest rates will likely act as the catalyst that brings buyers back from the sidelines, stabilizing prices and kicking off a new, albeit more moderate, cycle of growth. While the dream of owning a home in this beautiful city will remain a challenge, the outlook for 2025 suggests that the value of that dream is set to continue its upward climb. Thanks so much for watching. What are your predictions for the Vancouver housing market? Do you think prices will go up, down, or stay the same in 2025? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you in the next video.